This is a story about two generations of photographers in the mid-Hudson Valley. First, I'd like to start, of course, with my father, who was a photographer before, during, and after World War I. He was in the Photographic Signal Corps. He was very, very proud of his service. And this photo studio behind me is the one they opened about the same time I was born in 1928. And he did everything in photography. Commercial photography, weddings, bar mitzvahs, portraits, everything. I began by helping him dress the windows. And gradually I got training and worked in the dark rooms. I was about 21 when I went to Chicago. I was very idealistic, and I thought I'd have more influence by being a clinical psychologist. So I had two careers. One was cognitive and verbal, and the other was visual and nonverbal. And I always maintained the two careers. Even in graduate school in Chicago, I had many exhibits, and I would shoot whenever I could in between my studies. And then when I finished my training, I was able to travel. And of course, travel suited me fine because I could do a presentation in psychology and then shoot all over the world with the photography. So it was a very happy dual career. Gradually, after I showed work in Chicago and shot things that interested me, I realized that I had a vision, that I really had an attitude or an approach to fine photography. And it emerged gradually, but what emerged was a sense that I wanted to make something iconic out of the commonplace. I wanted to tell stories with photography that brought the viewer to share with me familiar moments. And so that became my signature. My use of color is intrinsic to the image. I try to avoid it as decoration. And so I don't shoot just in black and white because I consider color a real challenge in photography. Mostly when I photograph, I really am an opportunist. I seek the moment and capture something that presents itself. I like the hunt. I like going after something. But mostly I grab what falls in front of me. Yes, I'm an equal opportunity photographer. I just see an image that has interest to me. Sometimes it's graphic, and sometimes it's light and shadow. And of course, people. Because I photographed everything. I like street scenes, I liked architecture, old and ancient. And of course, I have a classic picture of the Shrine of the Book. I had many exhibits in Chicago. The one that brought me the most attention, the most pleasure, I'd say, was the one in 1978, where I went on a mission to Israel to prepare a photo exhibit for the American Friends of the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. I had a wonderful opportunity to photograph Israel at a particular high point, I think, in their emerging with optimism from previous wars and having a real sense of success. I've retired now from psychology and spend full time in photography in the mid-Hudson Valley. We have to say I've returned. I've been doing a number of triptychs which make use of new images that I'm photographing, and also some of the triptychs make use of my archives, where I put together images that I think go together from my archives. You know, at 80-some years old, I've been all over the place, and I still photograph what I find of interest. Digital and Photoshop make a huge difference. To be able to improve it harks me back to my father's darkroom, where we improved the photo. Either he did retouching, which I never learned to do, or we did dodging when we did the enlargement, or we did hands-on rubbing the image as it was developed in the developer. So I've been taught and lived and trained to make improvements on the basic image. So to have Photoshop and have an archive of digital images to play with keeps me very occupied, and I think with some very good results. I want to leave you now with some music and images. My brother made his career as a piano player, a supper club player, and this is an original composition, and we'll go out with him playing. I hope you'll enjoy it.